Hello, this is Ian Noel Camilotes for CEntertainment Media, and this is ChatterBox. Hello again, this is Ian Camilotes with CEntertainment Media, and I'm here with Jonathon Santiago, one of the board of directors here at Anime Magic. So,
Yes, the show. Hello. Well, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you too. This is our annual.
The tradition. We were just saying before the camera's rolling that I could not possibly let the weekend go by without coming and doing this interview with you and talking to those of you that are watching the show to make sure that you understand, what we've been cooking. So.
Well, I really appreciate it. I think everybody appreciates it as well. I wanted to start off, first of all, I touched on it a little bit last year, but the theme this year was beach party.
Yes, that is correct.
What brought that about? Because every year you guys have a theme. And that's
we do change the theme. I think Richard wanted to do something fun and festive for 2025. The previous year was the birthday anniversary where we served everybody cake and everybody got to enjoy that, which was awesome. But we also it occurred to us over a certain period of time that everybody was stuck in the house for a long time. And, where would anybody have wanted to be in the middle of how crazy things were just a handful of years ago with COVID? Probably sitting on a beach somewhere, sipping a fruity drink and enjoying themselves. And we thought it would be nice to just celebrate summer. We think of ourselves as kind of the end of summer convention in the Midwest here. And
just in time for school start.
Yeah, just in time for school start. We're usually the last show right before everybody gets back to their school year or back to start their next semester. And so we thought, why not celebrate summer by making it festive and pleasant. So yeah, that's
okay. Well, with now this year coming to close tomorrow, is there any hint as to what the theme might be next year? Anything you can talk about?
Yeah. I just finished wrapping up the cosplay contest, and we announced that next year we are going to have a maid cafe theme for the mascots.
Ooh.
And we did show, and we usually traditionally when we announce that information and the dates, we will put up, sketches or loose concepts of what our mascots are going to be for next year. And all of them have some really cute maid cafe themed costumes and outfits this year that Richard dreamed up. And they're really cool. It's super festive.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So maid cafe 2026.
Yeah.
Okay. Every year, one thing I've talked about a lot, you guys every year bring something new.
Sure.
Something different. What are some of the new things that came about? Because there was so much. I was looking through guidebook. I'm like, there's so much here. I can't even keep up.
That's awesome. Well, I love to hear that. We get so much feedback from people that one of the things that sets us apart from our peers that are, providing anime entertainment in the Midwest is that there's a lot to interact with at our show. And that's by design. We do that on purpose. We don't want anybody to feel like it's stale or, it's just, there's a vendor hall and that's great. And everyone's glad to see the vendors and the artists. But we always want people to have something to do once they retire from the convention center hall, come back to the hotel and enjoy a variety of programming. One of the newest things we did this year that's been a huge success for us is we collaborated with Tobean's Cat Cafe and also the Cat Rescue, and they worked together. Feline Fine Cat Rescue. They are hosting a cat cafe here at the convention, and where you can adopt all of the cats, and they're like really sweet and cute. And we also had Border Tales come back again to do the canine rescue, which has just been a lot of fun. And I hope all of the sweet kitties found homes. That's one new piece of programming. We had a monster sponsorship and partnership with Gangnam Market this year that we hope you all really enjoyed.
It's a really big part of that vendor hall.
Yeah, very popular. Beautiful booth. I mean, they went all out, man, and they've been just wonderful partners to work with. We've announced some big partnerships with the Tattoo Bros for the Anime Magic Inc. show coming up. That's new that we're working on, and they're doing they've had some really great panel programming this weekend, and they're just like true hype guys. You know what I mean? And then we kind of changed the way that our game room worked this year. So far, for the better, everybody seems very hyped about the way that we set it up. It's a hybrid game room where instead of separating the arcade and the video gaming, we brought those things together and then kind of used in the middle there a bridging gap with some of the manual games, the bar games, the pool, and
The Vago and everything.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just trying to make it, there's a little something for everybody in there. And it's been a big success this weekend. Cosplay contest was completely overhauled and redesigned to include the community a little bit more than just the competitive side. Not that we don't appreciate the competitive cosplayers, but we wanted to, the community cosplayers get stuffed into hallway cosplay contests all the time. Like here, shouldn't be on a stage. Go stand over there in this hallway and have a hallway contest. And we really wanted to bring a spotlight to the community side of it and take those two things and make it two great taste great together. You know what I mean? And I just finished that right before I came here, and it was huge. It did really, really well. So
Okay.
I could talk for 20 minutes about all the new things we tried to do this year, but I'll keep it brief.
Okay. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to you already talked about Anime Magic Inc. that's coming in November.
Yeah.
What are some things that you're looking forward to, that people can look forward to for that show? And then what are some things that people can look forward to for Anime Magic 2026?
Yeah. So, I can tell you that I mentioned that partnership with Tattoo Bros. They're bringing some really cool things. We're building some custom programming to, I don't want to tell too much, but I'm working right now on it's a very good-natured, we're trying to make sure we smooth all the wrinkles out of it so that people understand that it's supposed to be good-natured and fun. We're doing an awesomely bad tattoo contest at the show. Like it's, we're calling it disaster pieces, but it's supposed to be tongue-in-cheek and fun, and people who are proud of these kind of like crazy art pieces they have, and they're going to tell stories, and it's going to be a light contest where people are judging. That's something that I'm building right now that I think is going to be a lot of fun and hopefully very popular for people at the show. Anime Magic Inc. is also growing considerably from our first year to this year, so we're expecting a much bigger turnout. The amount of artists, a variety of artists you can work with, is going to be much better. And there's 2 or 3 things I really just want to say, but I can't because it's going to spoil the surprise, and we're working on some really neat things for the show. Yeah,
okay.
I think you guys will be very happy with that.
And then how about
for 2026? We overhauled a lot of the way that we do things internally for our organization this year, and I think that next year is going to be no exception to that. I think there's going to be a lot of changes that come down. We've added so much more staff, which means we're becoming more efficient in providing you guys with a better show, and without giving. There's something I want to tell you all, but I can't tell you about it because it's this close to being finished, and we will know for sure that we can do it. But it's going to be a big uptick in the quality of our production and the way that we are presenting things for next year. So, I can't say much more than that right now, just because we're trying to. We have to sleep this one off first, and then we'll start talking a little bit more about it. I think we're going to be doing more with our podcast this coming year, based on what we've been talking about too. So you guys are probably going to be able to find a lot more updates there as we're overhauling the way that works.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing that I'd be interested to ask in general, because it's something you don't get the chance to find out, and a lot of people always wonder, how do you select in terms of the panels? Because a lot of times these are con attendees that want to present a panel for audiences. How do you decide not just which ones, but like the variety, so that there's no repeats or stuff?
It's tricky, right? Panels fall under my purview, but I did not program this year. This is actually the first time we worked with folks outside of the organization to do that, because we've just gotten so busy that we can't program them ourselves. The selection has a lot to do with, one, making sure there's a variety. We are okay with things that are off topic from anime, but we don't want it to go so far away from some of the cultural things that it's adjacent to that it becomes weirdly off topic. There's a lot of factors that go into it. We also have to, people don't realize with panel programming, you have to try really hard to make sure that you're not approving something that shouldn't be on on hand. We had one panel that we approved and didn't realize until after the fact that person shouldn't have been there, and we resolved that with him, and took that one off the schedule and got it straight. Sometimes it happens, but there's just a lot of moving pieces to making those choices, because we do want everyone to be happy, but we can't make everybody happy all the time, despite our best efforts. You know what I mean? So a lot of it is just making sure there's a variety of things for people, a little something for everybody, I think, is what we're looking for in panels. We added 2 panel rooms this year. Well, technically 3 if you're not counting the community stage. So we had 8 panel rooms this year, up from 6 plus community stage the prior year. And then, prior to that, we always had 3. So we went from 3 to technically 9 if you count the community stage in 3 years. So it's a lot of panel programming, and don't anticipate we're going to expand that coming up, but who knows? We'll see. We're always
Depends on
looking
what you
for,
can find.
we're always trying to give you all more as convention operators, more for what you're paying for. So
Okay.
Yeah.
As press, since I've been in the press room quite a bit here, I wanted to ask a question in terms of how you guys select the guests too, because I like how there's a variety. There's some that come back, but I like the variety that you guys bring in. But how do you guys select those? Because again, they're not all. Some places only specifically choose specific guests, whereas you guys have a little bit of everything.
We do. So that again is a recurring theme, variety. We want to give people things to look forward to for the show, and we also want to keep it fresh. We don't want to bring, and we have such a great relationship with a lot of the guests we bring, but obviously we, in order to keep it fresh for attendees, don't always ask the same folks to come back every year, or even though we're glad to have them back at some point. I think Richard is always thinking 2 steps ahead about trying to figure out what it is people are looking for. He's always trying to think about which guests are well liked, and not just by the attendees, but our peers that run the convention world. We always want to bring out guests that are positive to work with. I think there's always a consideration for what's popular and people are interested in right now. For an example, one of our guests this year was featured in K-pop Demon Hunters, and that's obviously, everyone's in love with that show right now. So we're trying to make sure that we're bringing things to everybody that is, kind enough to buy a badge to our show. We're trying to give you what you hope to see. You know what I mean? And, there's a lot of moving pieces to what decisions go into that. But a lot of it is, in the moment. What are people looking for right now? And I'll tell you, for every 10 guests we book, there's 5 or 6 that we hoped to get this year. Schedules didn't line up. Conflicts, things just didn't work out, and then we sometimes there are people that are here this year that we wanted last year. Schedules didn't line up, and so sometimes you just got to keep kind of chasing that in hopes that you line it up right. So we're always thinking about that next kind of thing. Richard he's got wonderful foresight, and he's always thinking ahead for you guys. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, is there anything else you wanted to let the audience know about Anime Magic, or anything that you guys, at least a message for everybody out there?
First and foremost, just thank you all for continuing to come to our show. We're seeing a big growth this year, and any of us who build these conventions never know if we're making the right choices 100% of the time. But when you all show up and you turn out to the event, and we see you having a good time and the vibes are good, it gives us positive reassurance that we are going the right way. So thank you all for coming out to our show and helping it grow as meteorically as it has in the last 5 years. But also, come and get a flavor of something different for Anime Magic Inc. in November. That show is going to be really great. It's the 3rd week in November, I believe 21st, 22nd, 23rd. My brain is smooth right now from convention operating on everything. Yeah, so I apologize if I got those wrong. But yeah, come out 3rd week in November and check out something a little different. The culture feels a little bit different. The programming is different. We separate what we do for those 2 shows to make sure that they are distinctly different. And I think you guys will love what we built. We've learned a lot. It's really cool.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. Annual, every year we talk about it.
Every year, man. I have a great time every time. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you.
Sure thing. Guys, check out Anime Inc. in November, and then, of course, around August time, Anime Magic 2026. This is Ian Camilotes for CEntertainment Media, and thank you for joining us.